Hello, and welcome back to HGC Korea. We're back with another series coming at you. My name is Wolf. He's G-Clef. Earlier we were Genji and Hanzo, but that was just an April Fool's joke.
We're back to our normal form.
Yeah.
No longer Hanzo. I feel safe.
I mean, he's normal. I've never really been normal my entire life, so like he can speak for himself. But I hope you feel better. The second series might help you feel a little bit better, though.
Yes.
Ballistix versus BlossoM should be high level, exciting.
Nice. Throwing that out there, we've got confirmation that if Ballistix 3-0s tonight, they will be moving up to first place.
Yeah.
But BlossoM, I don't think they are the opponent to be easy on. 3-0 sounds possible, but I don't think it's going to be a case. Even if that's the case, all three of those games should be very close.
Yeah,
yes.
I think that it's probably going to be a 3-0, but BlossoM upset Tempest Ballistix in Eastern Clash, not taking the wins, but actually taking maps that were not expected. So Ballistix needs to be on their guard. They moved away from the Hanzo drafts last time we saw them. They were running anything but the Hanzo. They had a very much a, I don't want to say, I was trying to say the opposite of affinity, but anyway, they avoided it, let's just say, yesterday. We saw 0 games of Hanzo from SC. Played Greymane. He played Genji twice.
Genji clones. Or it was what they tried to show to everyone, and including all the other Korean teams, that we can actually have this clone comp with Genji basically carrying the team. And lots of CC to lock in the targets, but I don't think today's the day to bring that kind of a theme. Last time when Ballistix was against BlossoM, week 2, day 1, it was basically let's lock down Wiz power. Wiz picked Sonya, Sonya 0 to Illidan, but Jungha always keeping it passive with the Yorick, Blaze coming into play. So Wiz never really dominated the lane, which powered down the entire team of BlossoM's macro.
It's a really good point. We'll have to keep track of that as we head into the draft to see if that story continues to be true today. Nasong has been looking really good on a majority of his hero pools right now. Notably the Rhaegar, which has become, again, much more meta. So look forward to him walking in the Rhaegar. That's always been one of his favorite picks. Magi showing us a lot of Rhaegar yesterday. So kind of coming back. A little bit absent in our last series, to be honest. We saw Stukov take priority in the match between Feliz and Miracle, but in this second one, I think we will be seeing a lot more of a good old Wolf Shaman. Wiz seems to be in a good mood based on his bouncing down there at the end of the line. Gondar, on the other hand, I think feeling the pressure. There's been a lot of pressure on this guy to perform ever since he started playing in late 2017. Living up to the hype on sometimes, but sometimes falling a bit short.
Yep, and I think a lot of pressure for Dudu to contest against SCSC, one of the world's best DPS. And oftentimes his Genji fell short most of the time. He's good, but not the best. And we always say this, that Dudu is great. It used to be one of the best in Vala, but she's out of the meta. Genji sometimes, but not all the time. So compare that to SCSC. We can play Hanzo at the best level in the world. Also Genji, a lot of other DPS. So Dudu really needs to step up in order for BlossoM to take actually maps off of Ballistix tonight.
Well, map bans will be banned Volskaya by Ballistix. Very rare to see Volskaya banned because eventually every Korea team realizes that no one wants to play it, so no one will pick it, so you don't want to waste your ban there. So a little bit odd, but Ballistix trying to keep it safe. And then BlossoM banning Sky Temple. BlossoM is the team that likes to occasionally, 1 out of 100 games, throw in the good old Volskaya on the good old Warhead Junction, but when it was in the pool. But Sky Temple is going to be removed. That's a smart choice in terms of snowbally, aggressive maps that you can snowball into an early lead that the big 3 like to pick. But Cursed Hall is another one of those maps, and they leave that open. BlossoM gets first pick, but Ballistix will pick this map. A lot of thought going into this first ban here for BlossoM. Yesterday we saw Ballistix prioritizing, again, away from the Hanzo, moving into the Genji in first rotation in 2 of the 3 games they played. And they did not play a single game of Malfurion.
One more thing they have to think about is the avatar from the previous match. So a lot to consider. Both Shimada brothers, Maiev, Avatar was the first ban, but Genji for now, as they would like to steal that Hanzo away from SCSC's hand.
I think it would be a wise choice to ban the Hanzo now.
And give them Maiev.
I think it's a tough call, right? Remember,
Which secures, well, we basically called it last time, which secures a Malfurion with maybe a Tracer for Ballistix if that happens.
yeah,
But I don't think Ballistix wants to play Tracer.
they're not willing to deal with the Maiev pick either on this map. Well, given that Hanzo's not banned, I think BlossoM would do well to take it. SC playing primarily the Genji. Now that that's removed, if you take the Hanzo, you're in a good spot. You can deny the Malfurion, but then you just leave Ballistix with the best duo they've chosen in second rotation every single time, the Hanzo Uther.
If you get Hanzo, you will possibly be giving Sonya Medivh also. So I think they were considering that option a little more. Losing that lane and losing Sonya can be a big level too, but that's why Ballistix, other than Medivh, they pick up Malf and Sonya, but they do not have Medivh themselves. Ballistix, they have to be having something else, like the Tyrael we were mentioning match 1.
Yeah, I think that Sonya and Malfurion, they're both going to be strong heroes no matter what you have. But Medivh feels like it's really reliant on Sonya and to a lesser extent potentially Diablo. But now that Sonya's removed, Genji is banned, you have this Medivh first pick. Who is he going to pair with? What is he going to empower? What is he going to accomplish? That's a tough question to answer right now. If they want to really hone into the boss control, Blaze and Tyrael are really strong options to lock in here to make sure they have boss control every time. They can force every fight on every boss post 10. So as long as they don't fall behind, they'll be in a good spot. This is what, we were talking about the mission, quote unquote, from Gluck yesterday, was to make sure they weren't curse pointed below 10. If they could do that, they could fight for every boss. Their comp was good at it. They didn't survive. Tracer is going to be the pairing here. We saw this earlier. And Garrosh. Still could be quite strong. You can portal into enemy members, toss them. Be quite effective.
Tracer after the Sonya because they can still play Blaze off the equation. But very less likely because they already have the solo lane as Sonya. So they were willing to pick that Tracer already. And they also don't have to ban Blaze because the bunker is usually the counter. So BlossoM, I think, overall winning this draft very nicely by picking the DPS, also the tank before the second ban.
The Malthael ban here just feels like a matchup ban for Sonya. It's not a very strong ban in particular. Tyrael, I think, is pretty off the cards with Garrosh locked in, so you're not worried about that anymore. And Diablo, obviously the other pairing we were talking about, no longer a fear. So Malthael banned with Garrosh already locked in. They're going to look to remove ETC. Tyrael can still be an option for Ballistix, on the other hand. Tyrael Hanzo, I think, would not be a bad rotation here. Save that 5th pick for Flex, could just be SDE's Tychus.
Banning ETC when they have Garrosh. Just knowing how aggressive, powerful ETC Hooligan can be. Just respecting how well he can play on that ETC. Shows in that ban. But still, lots of other tools. You mentioned Tyrael. Nubarag is also, I think, possible against so many skill shots from the other side.
True, he can really block a lot of pulse bombs. He can absorb Medivh's Qs. Obviously, a reset on the Q means that he'll have to continue to do that. So Hanzo here, will it be the Tyrael? Yep, it is. So SC gets his Hanzo that he avoided so much yesterday, knowing that today's matchup was going to be the tougher one of the week. Looks like Nasang might have some sort of technical issue. Hear that, or he just told the ref to get away from here because he was pointing at something. Looks like it's all going to be fine, though. Boss control between these two teams is really going to be up for grabs because you've got Sanctification, you've got Leyline potentially, but more likely the Polybomb. Polybomb's so good against Tyrael, Sonya. The second DPS for BlossoM and their healer is the next question. Uther, a little bit rough to use with the Tracer. Obviously, you can do a lot with that, but I think that a Rhaegar might be the better option for camp timings. Early camps you could take with that. They don't have wave clear, they don't have a camping hero. All eyes on Nasang now.
In terms of rotation, I think Rhaegar is really good if you want to control the macro. If you want to really force into a team fight, that silence will be coming in big time. And going into a Zeratul pick after looking at the Sonya. Okay, this is the first solo lane that BlossoM picked against Ballistix after Jungha locks into Sonya. Usually it was Ballistix responding to what Wiz picked before from BlossoM.
Yeah. Well, Sonya's so meta, you pick it early now if you want the Sonya. If it wasn't going to be the Sonya, you pick it late, like the Zeratul pick here. This feels like it's a boss control move where you're like, okay, I've got Void, I've got silences for that area. We've got the longer sustained healing with the Stukov versus the Malfurion. It's pretty similar, but I think Stukov does win out if you can spread the pathogen and use that bio kill switch.
So
but
your opponent has the protection, all the burst. Actually, total burst from Tracer Bomb, Zeratul poking in.
They're trying to dive super hard to kill Malfurion and kill Hanzo against a Tyrael draft.
What can you provide here?
Well, they're going to grab a global. That's also vulnerable to Zeratul. So there's 3 good targets for Zeratul and Tracer to pulse bomb right now. This is a risky play by Ballistix. Before the Falstad pick, I felt like BlossoM, the draft didn't look that strong. But with the Falstad coming through here, it's going to be tough to actually globally soak with Falstad when Zeratul is on the prowl. They have to really keep track of him, keep vision on him. Medivh's on the other side. There's no way to really track where Zeratul is, except checking lanes to see if he's there using the mini-map. So that's going to be a scary thing. We have not seen a lot of success with these double dive Zeratul comps, whether it was with Genji or with Tracer. Jungha fan and a Magi fan.
Says focus Jungha and Uther again, Magi.
Not today.
On his Malfurion.
Thank you, SDE. I always needed this in my life. Dr.
Well,
Z. Alright.
they have picked into the counter of BlossoM.
Yeah.
That Zeratul also very likely Void Prison against Sanctification now. And also a Falstad. So nice targets for him to... Nice target is in a team fight. Now nice target as an individual play rotations to actually get kills. Going for that Q poking build with the wormhole at 7.
Yeah, it's been pretty common recently. Sonic Arrow here to look for, and when he can find, Hanzo just looks to poke a little bit. Just making sure it's a safe poke. And interestingly, Medivh can solo lane, and that was his original role. So it's going to be Zeratul roaming with Tracer, and the solo lane Medivh. That's the setup here. It's very difficult, though, against the Sonya to win that matchup. And it can be more difficult still to remount or re-Raven, whichever you want to call it, in this matchup. But it's a ranged hero versus non-ranged, so or melee, perhaps the better way to describe that. Just depends on the Sonya. The Sonya could super outplay the Medivh if she can hit her spears when Medivh's on the ground. But otherwise, like, Medivh's just going to poke her down and hit Q's build stacks. Like this Falstad global, because you could send Falstad up to have a more ranged matchup against Medivh for right now, and then Sonya could just go clear camps. That's another thing that BlossoM is lacking without Rhaegar. We've talked about how Dudu loves to use this to build pulse bombs, this Sonya, or sorry, the Tracer, excuse me, because he can avoid the damage of the siege camp, then build a pulse bomb. It takes a long time to do that, though, and that's the trade-off.
Yeah, of course. And Falstad, because they wanted Sonya to get the camp, will trade in. But Modern actually playing very well, keeping the lane against Sonya, also harassing Falstad well enough. I'm pretty sure he got some stacks also. They're looking into a long game, and they're also controlling, not really falling behind the macro. They're both focusing on the bottom, meanwhile kind of losing on top. Will be hard for Medivh alone to really work against that wave.
Yeah. Okay, big invade here from BlossoM. Medivh is not here though, so I don't think this is going to work. Ooh, root on the Tracer, very terrifying. If you're a Tracer player when you get stuck like that. This big pressure from BlossoM meant that SC was able to freely clear this camp. So it didn't do as much as they would have liked. Pretty neutral tribute spawn to the top side now, as this night camp is going to do a lot, potentially. As BlossoM doesn't have a global, they don't have any great way to deal with this. Their wave clear is honestly pretty abysmal.
Barely blinks in after the root comes, and Dondar is very low, so we can't really go in too deep because of the sustain from Magi. It's so great. Tosses over Hooligan, but Tyrael can always out ruins away.
Well, not always, but as long as he has it on cooldown.
Yes. And it seems like he just had barely enough mana to do so also.
Yeah. Head on cooldown, had enough mana. I see the rotation towards this neutral tribute now on the top side. Finally, it took a lot of effort by BlossoM, but they finally clear those knights. A lot of damage done. Jungha is soaking bot. I'm going to use Falstad to soak mid, so it looks like BlossoM will control the tribute area for now.
Yeah, well, BlossoM has 5 men here. Will be
silenced.
The Tracer comes, Hooligan goes down before the Q.
Yep. Clears the minion wave though, at least.
But seems like Ballistix was not really considering of getting this tribute at all. Falstad already in the mid, and Sonya has been pushing the bottom lane this entire time.
Yeah, this was intentionally given.
Goes all the way.
Ooh, that could have been, if that arrow hits, it gets even worse. But yeah, this is their plan. They have a global, they didn't really use it per se, but they had Falstad go mid. Had Tyrael not died, there could have been a lot more opportunity too for Ballistix to further this lead. Maybe even invade the night camp. That's
the Ballistix type of play. They actually use Jungha so much more macro-wise, even if he doesn't have any globals.
Yeah.
They actually let him stay in lane push so much when Wiz actually picked Zeratul, so he has to kind of roam away. If he's just sitting in lanes, just doing wave clear, then there's less of a reason to pick Zeratul instead of all the other heroes. So Jungha just sitting in lane, having Sonya, you have all the siege damage, the powerful weapon there. So Ballistix actually using all their hero to what they can reach in the beginning of the game right now.
Falstad also flies down bot now while the Sonya commits to the top. And let's see if Zeratul can actually get the pick here. Well, he used Q. I'm not super sold.
It's also a Q build, so
yeah,
a lot harder to get a solo kill. And SD, I think he knows already that it's going to be hard to get a kill.
Yeah. But Wiz, like, he comes in, harasses, does a big chunk of damage, but doesn't really relieve the pressure like he wanted to. Jungha eats a pulse, though. Heal's coming through. Not quite enough there. Groundbreaker going to get the kill, actually. This is a huge opportunity for BlossoM to get Curse Point. Tracer channeling at the moment. No one can get down there. They're totally zoned. Wiz actually ended up being great at this. So Curse Point against them. BlossoM could even get 10 first with Sonya dead. This is looking like BlossoM's taking the lead here. Magi gets tossed. He's dead. BlossoM is definitely going to get 10 first now. And they could go for a boss play.
I was going to say it's not the worst thing at losing Sonya because the first one was in the middle. And the second one towards the BlossoM side. Third one will be towards Ballistix side. They still have a chance. But after losing Magi, they lost a lot more time. With BlossoM, it's 10 first. Ballistix, of course, caught up. But they're losing a lot more time because of that. Not having the same respawn time really screws lots of macro work done.
Oh yeah, it definitely messes that up, man. And this is the Ballistix side tribute. Zeratul's rotating down. Dudu's rotating over. Looked like he wanted to try to camp here since they don't have to take this tribute, but I think they want more with this. They actually want this curse now. They are threatening at the moment. Look at the Medivh positioning. Rondo's got plenty of armor. He's not happy. He's not upset about this at all. They can't stop the camp, but they're looking for a fight. Falstad can fly down at any moment. Looks like he's looking for that right now. Gonna fly mid first, but there's a lot of window of time here where BlossoM can make stuff happen. Polybomb is available. It's going to be the first to be used here. Good avoidance, but Sank used here after the Void to try to outlast the fight. Gondor with so much armor, he survives. It's a trade. But Sank was already used. Can they turn this fight around? They're missing a lot of range damage. Realistically, with just Tracer and the Zeratul, they can't really poke. So it looks like this is actually going to go over to Ballistix, so we'll be able to get back to lane faster. They had this Night Camp. And SDE is just going right up with his faster movement speed, with his barrel roll right up to the top line. Or tailwind, sorry. Right up to his top lane. Take a further experience lead.
Losing Garrosh, of course, means that you can't really engage anymore. Maybe Wiz can go in, try to poke, but because of the healing over the time, Amphibian just keeping everyone alive and very well. Nicely done to cancel. Sanctification was basically used to save himself as Hooligan. Having that Grave Void person actually offensively, nicely done by Wiz. That was close.
And because they have Hanzo, they have a really fast clear time on this, and even though the scout comes in, it's just too late of a rotation from BlossoM, they could actually get punished on their retreat. So Boss makes it easy to get their own second tribute. Very late gust here, unfortunately. The Pulse Bomb connects, so that's the end of Jung-Ah. The Boss is still pushing, so they need to either wipe this fight now or make a different choice. They're going to cut up towards this tribute, just letting the Boss take the fort, as it was at full health. Looks like Ballistix is willing to let this curse go, as they have a Boss. Let's see what BlossoM can get done with this. They take an experience lead again now. Good scout here by Modern Life. Sees everybody headed down. They're in the narrow choke point.
Thing is, they get the curse, but their siege is not the most powerful thing. Tracer doing some auto attack damage. They don't have someone like a Greyman or Sonya to actually burst all the structures. So it takes a long time, and also Gondar might have took the wrong path.
We're gonna have a portal in a second. He just has to live long enough for that. Sank gets used, Polybomb as well. Pulse coming out.
Into the Void Prison!
Well, he's still very likely to die right afterwards.
Actually safe.
Yeah. That's a weird interaction. I'm not entirely sure how that all works. I guess maybe the Void Prison removes the bomb. Or maybe he had enough shields from Tyrael and his barrel roll. That was weird. I'm not sure about that one. I have to rewatch it. Curse is done. They're going to go for Boss here.
They only got 1 fort.
1 fort. Gives them an experience lead, but not a massive one.
And 1 more because of the wave on top.
They don't have Sank and Polybombs up now for BlossoM. I don't know if they can actually steal this Boss. This is risky. There's the Polybomb first. On to Tyrael. He's dead.
Great silence right before 13. So no holy ground available for Ballistix. I think it's better off to just back from here, but they're contesting for this way too early of a gust.
Too. I don't think this works for Ballistix. There you go, Boss taken, and they're going to lose more than that potentially here. Parting Gift adding some extra damage. Look at what Wiz is doing here. Jung-Ah eating a lot of damage. Gondar gets out here with the portal. Good circle of protection there, mitigating most of that Hanzo damage. Jung-Ah very likely to go down. Does get taken out. Would have died probably to the next Medivh Q. Let's see, he survives. Ping's coming down. They want the chase here. Portal on him. He's going to buy some time here, but he's certainly going to go down. BlossoM may have just sowed the seeds of victory with this exchange. Ballistix overconfident in their Boss invade without Heroics minus Gust to deny it, and Gust was used so early.
What is happening from Ballistix? They are known as the calculated team, with the CC always lining up perfect timing. Gust misplaced right before 13. Hooligan died without the sanctification. So much, well, there are lots of tools like the silence, the taunts, everything really went into Garrosh with the CC, but still. Okay, let's look at this my circle of protection. There's a Sank, but perfect Void Prison to cancel it.
Yep, okay. Wiz gonna look for some extra damage as soon as he gets in there. Not enough though. Polybomb not gonna be too impactful either. Ballistix looking for the better fight here. Doodle and Wiz very low. We're gonna help secure one of those kills. Master's Touch finishes and all the chaos. They're gonna need to portal out of here. No portals available. Modern Life ravened up for a second. Wanted to get a portal but just didn't have an opportunity. But even though 3 die for BlossoM, it's not during any major objective. No Boss, no Curse Tribute. So all they could do is catch up and soak, grab some caps, but there's nothing major they can get. So this overextension from BlossoM is more realistic because they knew that even if something went wrong, there was never going to be a big consequence.
Gave lots of hero experience from those kills. Ballistix, I think they're finally lining up in a place where they see moments to go in. It seemed like they were playing with some different players in the team in the previous team fights, but finally opening that wall with the Holy Ground. Now I think they have a lot more tools to actually take the boss, really fight for the tribute. The silence, I think that's something that Hooligan really has to be careful for. Sanctification not even available right now, so just delaying it as much as possible with Hanzo poking.
Yep, 15 seconds slots available. SD flies down. Cap control obviously in Ballistix's favor because of that last fight. BlossoM needs to be careful for how long they fight over this because this isn't anywhere near a curse for them. This is not a major tribute. Good taunt here and the polybomb on the Junga. Anti-synergy there with the swipe. They knock him into the Void Prison, but Sank wasn't wasted. It's available right afterwards. Junga is getting very healed right now. Tranquility going to help get him back up to full health. Coming in here with the Whirlwind now. Gondar is stuck, caught. And this is a one fight for Ballistix, it appears. BlossoM was going to portal out.
Nice use of Holy Ground. And waiting for that Void Prison to be used. Sanking right after to save Junga. Well coordinated, but BlossoM's not done. They also have the Stukov healing.
Okay, the Stukov healing does come through here. Tranquility's already been used. Silence on the Hooligan. Pulse barely mitigated there by that shield. And the Gust. BlossoM, because of the Stukov healing, comes back into this fight. Full health. Everyone has to tap this well, which is alive. But remember, Ballistix is winning the macro game right now. Every second that passes with the Night Camp and the Siege Giants in the top lane.
Junga dives in with the Poison Spear, gets a chunk of damage, and they will actually fall back because of all the macro that's been happening in the meantime.
This feels like a double support game, these team fights, because we've got Tyrael and Medivh focusing, basically being pseudo supports. Very quick boss time with Hanzo, so Ballistix decides to start this. BlossoM comes to contest. Not within an advantageous position, however.
They've been fighting for 80 seconds and more. Sank is about to come back.
Boss was like, whoa, 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 you can't just shoot these at me when we're not actually doing boss for real.
Of course, after getting the tribute, boss is right next to you, and Zeratul was away, so you want to go for that boss, but not really. The risk was not really worth to take.
Also, Medivh is watching your every move, so you can't really hope for this boss to happen while you're being spotted. Now, if they could sneak Falstad to get Curse while delaying the boss, that would be really fantastic. Still a risk they're not willing to take. It's going to be a big rotation up for BlossoM now. They denied the boss. Now they need to deny the Curse. Hooligan has been the main first target in these fights, either by silence and CC or just to try to blow him up so he can't sink. Very fast marksman here at 15 minutes. 4 kills helping out a little bit with that.
Raven's watching all this, and making sure with the Sonic Arrow. Trying to spot where Zeratul is, but not really showing right now as Wiz is hiding right there. There's a portal engaging.
Silence on the Junga, but not going to stop the Sank, not yet. Hooligan's going to have it after this taunt. Okay, Polybomb, Gust to buy enough time. There's the Sank, but it's only really protecting right now the Tyrael. Huge arrow, going to get the triple stun, and Ballistix is trying to make this happen. Going to grab 3 kills here, though, is BlossoM. Dudu's so low.
Yes, getting multiple kills.
He gets over the wall. Can he get more? I don't think so. What a messy fight that was, but the Sank really just didn't do very much of anything.
He's really concerned about the Zeratul, who is making super plays in these team fights. Although that Holy Ground was possibly the best thing that Ballistix could have, with SCSC scatter arrows just bouncing off everywhere, but there's that Medivh with the circle of protection when everyone's close together. BlossoM's defending all the poking from Hanzo so well, and also going with it to Zeratul, not really letting Falstad do any damage in the team fight. This is becoming a lot harder for Ballistix. What seems like a team fight for Ballistix, but BlossoM just has all the mobility to escape. Really low HP, they'll just come back and snipe you.
Yeah. Tracer and Zeratul having so much to gain from Circle of Protection. and just basically having unlimited health, avoiding all the burst damage coming up from Falstad, and then outlasting through the Hanzo damage with the Stukov pick, silencing in good locations. Void making it very difficult to use Sanctification properly.
I don't think it's Ballistix playing bad. I think it's BlossoM having specific picks and the team style really coming in together on this map.
Well, BlossoM looks to grab this tribute. This is going to tie up the curse point, but without Tracer, contesting this boss is just not going to be possible. This boss goes directly to the keep. And again, they don't have poke. They have basically no range damage on their team. I'm going to try to get these Siege Giants to slow this down, but Ballistix also controls the mid camp, so they're probably going to get 21st here. Tracer soaking externally, trying to keep up with that race, and Tracer obviously does very little against this boss. This keep wall is already damaged. Tracer comes down. This boss might get the keep if Ballistix plays it correctly. They have so much poke. Scatter arrow.
Destroys those golems.
Yeah.
Wiz pokes in, just for some poking damage. Gondar dives in with the portal though.
They want to win a fight here away from the boss. Pulse bombs onto SDE. Not really even going to phase him though. There's too much healing, tranquility, the shields from Tyrael. Now, BlossoM doesn't have any tools to hard engage. Don't even have the polybomb anymore. This keep is dead.
Worst positioning for them when they are out right there with Wiz Tutu shown all the time. Gondar tries to dive in, holy ground, isolated alone, will portal away, but boss is on the core, and Ballistix hit 20. That's a big timing.
Very low, he goes down. Boss is working on this shield. Ballistix has 3 caught in the prison. They could still try to make a play here. Sank is available.
There goes Wind Tunnel for the game ending. They have 20, rushing forward the core, all the damage forcing out. They have game done here as Wind Tunnel locked in. I was saying that's gonna be GG.
BlossoM, man, struggling in this late game.